What's going on today, everybody? I hope you're having an amazing day. I know I am, because the foam just showed up, and now it's no longer me waiting on stuff to show up, it's waiting on me to get some stuff done. So now it's crunch time, I gotta get some stuff done. Thought about this floor, getting this floor in, should be fine, because we're gonna have foam holding it up. That's the majority of it, but I'm gonna go ahead and sand it all nice and flat, throw a couple layers of the thin stuff before I do really big 17-ounce biaxial all the way across the top. So the foam will be supporting it, and then we're going to have another layer. So it's going to be really thick floor, which we don't want this floor to break ever again. So I've got a little bit more work to do. I've got this back seal to get sealed in, and I'm going to take a piece of felt, a little thin piece, to make up that difference, a little 1/4-inch gap, and then I'm going to use my chop mat, fill in that hole, get it all sanded nice and flat. We'll use the bilateral fiberglass for a final coat to make sure it's nice and flat and uniform, and then we'll use a big piece of biaxial to go all the way across and up. But remember, we messed up yesterday. We had some Flex Seal that we sprayed just a little bit too high up in here, because I still have to fiberglass most of this in. It's not all of it. So we didn't completely screw up, but we did not think about the process. Now I've got a pretty good plan going forward, so let's go ahead and start attacking this. I'm going to throw some fiberglass in this backside so that we can start getting this foam in. I wanted to fiberglass the floor in, thanks to Risky Rider, because they did it and they thought they could hold it down. I totally thought I could hold it down, and that's not the case. So hopefully I can just put some weight on the floor and have it all fiberglass, and that will hold it down, because I want it down as far as I can. I guess I need a little bit more buoyancy, so if it's higher it don't really matter too much, but I'm trying to get the floor as flat as I can. I won't notice it too much because I'm putting a pretty big undermat underneath it, but you still want it to be as flat as you can. Okay, that's enough talking. Let's start getting some fiberglass in this, and I'll show you guys where we're at today. So this is the current state I'm at. We went ahead and got this glued down last night. I do have this seam to fill in, so I'm going to put a little piece of foam in to kind of take up that gap and hopefully be able to stay up with this chop mat. Might try to find something I can stuff under here so we can push against it. But we've got the top piece done. I'm going to go ahead, cut this off nice and flat so I can wrap it around at least one time to get this bottom side glassed in as well. So I've gone ahead and taken some paint sticks as a sacrificial layer that'll break out after I'm done. But those popsicle sticks are going to hold up the resin and the felt so it doesn't go down, and I have something gentle to kind of push along. So I've already started filling this with foam, getting that first layer in so that my chop mat doesn't have a giant hole underneath it and all my resin will just fall through. So we've got popsicle sticks, or these sticks, painter sticks, just kind of chopped up. They work pretty good. Now we'll go ahead, stuff this felt in here, and then cut it to what I need and start glassing. Awesome, we're all glassed out. I got a pretty good base on everything. It's been sitting for a while. It's not tacky anymore, which is very good. One last clean, and then we're gonna put some foam in here and get this thing starting to put back together. So my goal is to get the foam up to this deck, and then I'll build the foam out, cut it nice and flush, and that'll be my new partial floor. Fill it with resin to get all those cells filled in, and then we'll put some fiberglass over it to make it strong. And that fiberglass will be halfway up and then halfway up, and then we'll do one that goes all the way across, attaching to both sides. So I've never done foam before, and I don't know how it's going to react. The directions say it's very aggressive, so I want to build the front up as much as I can, because that doesn't have much supporting other than the fiberglass tunnel. So that foam will be the supporter underneath, and then the back's got the tunnel that it's sitting on. So I'm more worried about getting foam under that chunk that I cut out than anything. And I don't want any voids underneath there. So my thought is I'll take a ratchet strap, we'll get the ski elevated, so it's at an angle, and then that foam will go to the front and we can work our way up and out. We'll see how that works out for me, but it works out in my head. So gravity is going to help us pour down in there. I want to try to get as deep into this front as I can, because the more foam we have, the more buoyant it's going to be. And I'm already taking a bunch of buoyancy out of it, so if I can add some buoyancy, that's going to help me out in the long run. Let's get to pouring this. I want to make sure that cavity in the middle, I might even have to drill a hole to get to the center and final set all that foam in the middle. So that's an option. If we need to, we'll just drill a hole and pour it straight down in the middle if we can't quite get enough foam in there, but I think we're going to have pretty good results with it. We'll see.
Okay, so he just poured in that first cup of foam and you can see it really expanding on both sides. But yeah, it's getting right around the pump and everything around those front seals. And on this side it's even coming up and over.
Made a little too much. We definitely did a little bit of learning. There was a little bit of an overspill, but it took me about 3 full one of these cups. They go up to, what is this? 28 ounces, so 28 times 3, and then I did about 10 more for the little bits and 1 or 2 increments. So that's pretty cool. Everything's super hard already. I mean, it's been maybe 10 minutes. This is the last thing I poured, and it's still a little soft, but it's definitely hardened up. And this is what happens if you don't get all the stuff out, because I forgot to didn't have time to get most of the extra out. Scoop it out, use it. It's way cooler to use it in here than in this thing. But with that, I've got 5 of these. The painter stick helped out a lot, and I only used not even 2 liters of this. So I have more than half of this left, which is more than I will ever use. But that's awesome, because now I have the next ski I can do is already got the materials procured. So now I'm going to let this dry just a little bit longer, make sure it's fully set up, and then we're going to start hacking into this and getting it flat for our deck. And then we're going to get our fiberglass up and over the sides. So we got a lot of work to do, but first there's a lot of waiting. So let's let this cure, and then we'll start cutting. So I've got everything pretty well where I wanted it to be. This right side turned out really good, but I messed up on this left side and dug my blade in a little bit too much of an angle because my fingers were underneath it. And now I have to go ahead and redo this to make sure my floor is nice and flat. Also, for some reason, this one didn't adhere the best. So there's a big cavern in here, which I just want to fix. So we'll fix this, and get most of this stuff that's easy to pull out of here. So we can go ahead and fix the floor. Another thing is, for some reason, this part popped up, so I had to do a lot of grinding on this part to get the fiberglass back down to flat. And we've done a pretty good job of getting everything back to flat, but now I need to build this side back up because it's a little bit too low right along that outside edge, but this side's looking really good. So start off cutting the big stuff out with just a saw blade, and then I moved on to the orbital. It just makes it easier because then you don't have a bunch of handwork to do, and you can kind of feel flat going in and out. The edges dig in a little bit, so it kind of makes it tough. I have a foam 120 grit, and honestly I don't like it that much. I thought I'd like it for the corners, but taking a orbital and folding it in half, that's been the best corner for me. I was able to get in the corner really good and make sure that everything's nice. Also, any random high spots, been awesome just to do with hand. So now we've got everything ready. We got to clean it all up and then seal all this foam that we've got exposed here. So one process down, another process to go. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here. Peace. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hey, I thought about it and I went and did that. Kudos to me for doing it. Fiberglass is still. So I gotta take all that off from this top shell up so I can fiberglass to it. Oh, I'm gonna die on these things.